Hello. It's Monday. It's 12:30, and this is our third episode of Brand Spotlight. Today, I've got the very lovely Penny Hopkinson. Hello. Hi, Penny.
Hi, Sapna. Lovely to be here as
Lovely,
always.
lovely to see you again. Penny, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Penny Hopkinson. I'm an operations manual specialist. I've been working with manuals for probably, 35 years now, and I'm recreating them as not the dull text-heavy tomes that you would normally think about, but something far more exciting. And I'm just about to launch a new SaaS product, which is software as a service, and that's Manual Magic AI,
Very
based on my
exciting.
book, Manual Magic.
Amazing. So you're going to be joining the Tech Bros.
I am.
Fantastic. So without further ado, we are going to be looking at various aspects of your brand. I understand you've got an established brand already, but you've created this new brand for your new venture. And so we're going to start with your LinkedIn profile, because obviously that's how people will find you. Okay, so this is your LinkedIn header. There is a lot of copy on there. Firstly, I would say lovely picture of you. It's current and up to date, which is a start, and it's got a lovely smile on there. Very recognisably you. The banner that you've got across the top, I'd say if you are launching a brand, I don't really see the brand there because it's very tiny on the left-hand side, but I would make more of a feature of that.
Yes, this low profile at the moment.
It's very low profile. Is this intentional?
It is,
Ah,
because we're
right.
launching in about 6 weeks.
Oh, okay. But you're known for Manual Magic anyway as your book.
Yes, correct.
So I would say anyway, the thing that you need to be preceding before the launch is the name Manual Magic, which I know you've got in your LinkedIn header. Brilliant. You've actually got the word AI in there, but I would still play with that and make that like a bit more of a focus when you come on that top right hand corner is valuable real estate when people are scrolling. And at the moment, you've just got DM or call me on there. So I would make that, I'd swap the positions of those and make the Manual Magic logo a little bit bigger. It's still your book. I don't think you need to hide that brand name away, and it will start seeding. People have to see a message at least 28 times. It used to be 7 times before they take action. So over the next 6 weeks, you need to be building brand awareness of the thing that you're launching. So I would definitely swap that around. Do you do that on Canva, Penny?
Yes, I do.
Okay. The other thing that I would also do is make sure that your name is on one line. I would say it's probably not necessary on LinkedIn, seeing as Penny Hopkinson is directly below your banner anyway, and that's how people will find you. And that version is searchable. I would say it's probably not necessary to put your name on your banner, but you may want to brighten it up with a bigger logo and also maybe even some imagery that kind of alludes to what you're doing. I don't know if you have imagery around that yet.
Yeah.
And the brand colours are going to be consistent, I assume, as the blue and the orange throughout everything that you're doing. Yes. Okay. I can't read very easily the copy that you've got on there. That's the other thing that I would say. And just think about the way that people scroll through social media is quite fast. Do you know that we scroll the height of Mount Everest every 20 days, Penny?
Goodness.
So people aren't reading tiny type like that. They're not really focusing on it. I would make that just bold. Think of it as a billboard. Your LinkedIn profile banner is a billboard. And so it needs to have that simplicity of outdoor advertising, if you like. So large logo, something eye-catching, maybe a line about what it's about, but like almost like a headline rather than too much copy. And then it's great that you've got franchises, licenses, and multi-site business owners, because that's actually saying who it's for. And I like ready to transform your team's manuals. Let's create a system your team will actually love. And what's the other one? Helping business to turn scattered SOPs, which is standard operating procedures, if anybody doesn't know, into dynamic team-friendly operations manuals. I think there's a bit of repetition going on there with the copy, so I think it could be combined and made punchier overall, and then you can make the type bigger and it's more visible. I'm all about getting you visible. Has that been helpful?
That's absolutely fantastic, Sapna.
Okay, so tell us about the book and the book jacket.
My book was published in October 2023, and it's all about my 3-step process and how to create a world-class operations manual. And we thought that Manual Magic gave it a sense of mystery. People absolutely hate creating operations manuals. And the thrust is reimagine your operations manual from a dull text-heavy tome that nobody reads these days, particularly if you're under 40, into something that's dynamic. So we wanted to give it a dynamic flavor with this swirl around the Manual Magic. I love that so much that I wanted to create a logo out of it.
Okay. And this was a book jacket. Did you publish it with Rethink Press?
I most certainly did.
Absolutely. With our mutual friend Lucy. Fantastic. So I love the swirl aspect because it actually does bring a little bit of magic into what, as you say, can be seen as a very dry subject. You've got the contrast between the print of manual and then the almost handwritten magic. You're bringing in a flourish. So that's quite nice in that you're making it a bit more exciting, and rather than the staid, boring, very solid tomes that people used to have, you're bringing in that human element, you're bringing in movement and dynamism, you're bringing that across. And obviously you've done that with an orange color in there as well to bring a little bit of warmth. Orange also signifies change, so that's really nice, and it's a good foil against blues. So blues tend to say safe and steady and routine and procedure and authority and stability, which is all the things that manuals do. But you're bringing in a little bit of excitement to, as I say, what can be seen as a very boring product until you get your magic onto it. So that's brilliant that you've done that. You've actually communicated that with the logo, with the book jacket, and you're using that logo consistently now for the next thing that you're launching. So shall we take a look at the next part of your brand? Okay, so tell us about this Manual Magic AI.
Manual Magic AI is a software as a service, which is known as a SaaS product, where I realized that it takes forever to create an operations manual. When I'm working with a global brand, for example, it can take a year. In Costa Coffee's case, there was about 5 manuals, and that was across 3 years. So how can we do it more effectively, quicker, and cheaper? So based on my 3-step system in Manual Magic, I decided that I should explore the possibility of turning it into technology. And this is the waitlist landing page that we are in the process of creating.
So let's take a look at that page. So you've got the Manual Magic logo there, which is fine. It's quite close to the top. Is there any more website above it?
No.
It feels a little bit squashed. So I would just give that a little bit more air,
Yeah.
if you like, around it, a bit more space, because it looks like it's trying to escape the page.
Yes, I agree entirely.
What I have noticed is from the book jacket, which had kind of quite blocky type, and you've got that in your logo, that the typeface that you've used on this page is not the same. The standardized with scale and confidence. Was there a reason for that?
I think we felt that standardize and scale with confidence would stand out as a feature, as a headline. That is really the crux of everything that I do, because you need to standardize everything in a franchise.
My point is that the typefaces you're using on this page are different to the typefaces you're using on your LinkedIn header and on your book jacket. So that was the first thing that jumped out to me. The color and the typeface are different. And if you're launching a brand which is a spin-off of an existing brand, you need to think about which typefaces you're using. Ideally, you would keep them consistent across all platforms, unless there's a real difference and need to differentiate this product from what has come before. And I don't think that's the case. In your instance, you want it to link back to the credibility of the book and everything that you've talked about in the last 35 years, right?
Yes.
So this is your IP in SaaS form. I would think about that and make sure that the colors and the fonts stay consistent. Have a look at the fonts that you're using on your book. So here you've got actually what we call a sans serif font, which
Yeah.
doesn't have the feet on. Some people don't know the difference, so I'm just explaining that for viewers. And then here you've got a serif font, which is beautiful and elegant, much like yourself, but doesn't link back to your book. So that's something I'd be aware of. It also doesn't link back to the fonts that you're using here.
Fine.
Be aware of that. Let's have a scroll down the rest of it. So it's nice and clear and clean, the layout. I'm not seeing you on this.
I should be further down, but
I would say you should be further up. Some people are a little bit scared of tech products, or they feel they need that element of trust, and your face on it, honey, is going to add that trust, especially if they know you because of Manual Magic. The fact that it is linked to you and your brand, I think, should be immediately obvious as soon as people land there. And I would almost be welcoming them and go, hi. And it just gives it that stamp of authority, that trust factor, that this is actually, you're behind it. Great for anybody who is building a SaaS project to actually humanize it. So we've covered imagery and type and color. So you've kept the colors really consistent, which is great. We have looked at the typography, which needs to be consistent across all the platforms. And again, that's so people can make that visual link. If you imagine if you turned up in different situations, or even to meet the same person, but one day you were dressed up as a punk. I'm doing extremes here. And then one day you were dressed up in 50s garb as a rockabilly. And then one day you dressed up as a Victorian, and people would be going, what on earth's going on? What's their identity? Who are they? What do they stand for? And that's the way that people are about brands as well. You need to be recognizable, whichever platform people see you on, and then they can go, oh, make that mental link, which helps build and accelerate trust much quicker. It builds recognition, and that, for me, is always the precursor to known trust. I'm not quite sure what the relevance is to some of these images, or are they just placeholders at the moment?
Costa Coffee was my client.
Ah, okay.
And it's an illustration of a global brand.
The fact that Costa Coffee is your client is brilliant, and you should represent it on the site. I'm not sure that's the right place to do it, because it's not telling me that you've worked with them. I'm just looking at that going, why have Costa Coffee on there? You could have a run of logos of brands you've worked with, and that's where I would put Costa to give it that credibility. She's making copious notes.
Absolutely.
Okay. One thing that you haven't built into this, and you said you really loved about your book jacket, was this sparkle, this element of magic. I don't know if there's a way to link that through, because that actually gives it a lovely kind of feel and breaks up the solidity of it all. Again, it will link the book. Does it say anything about the book on the site as well?
When you get down to where I was, which I seem to have, I'm not on this version because we're in the process of finalizing.
Yeah.
Then there's me and the link with the book, and that's the lead magnet. You get a digital copy of my book when you leave your email.
Just on that grid there with your 4 lots of clients that you help, I don't know if that's the width that the page has been set at, but it would look better in 2 of 2, like a block of 4, rather than a 3 and a 1. And then it would allow you to make those squares a little bit bigger. And all of those SMEs and franchise brands all look like solopreneurs to me. So I think if you're having different images, make them actually look different.
Yep, good point.
They all look like solopreneurs, apart from the last one. And the high five is a little bit cheesy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's great that you've got testimonials there. Again, the 2 and 1 isn't working for me. That looks like a lot of copy. Is there any way that people could scroll through them, maybe one at a time, if possible?
Yeah, we have got more. I've got a testimonial from the British Franchise Association and also a client.
Yeah. So what you could do is take a small part. You don't have to publish the whole testimonial. because this looks like very copy heavy at the moment.
Mm.
And I'm not reading this. I'm just going, okay, fine. If there's anything valuable in there, I'm missing it. So make them shorter and actually make them so people are seeing one at a time, because at the moment, I don't know where to look.
Okay.
And so if it's something that people can tab through, or that you pepper the testimonials throughout the site, that's another way of doing it to keep people engaged as they're going through. Okay. So this is a launch to join the waitlist, right?
It is.
Yeah. Get early VIP access. Fantastic. I would say about join the waitlist, I pepper that a little bit higher up as well. I need to scroll quite a way before I realize what you're asking me to do. So I would say that call to action, join the waitlist, doesn't necessarily need a section of its own. I'd say it needs to be at every point where you're talking about it. Join the waitlist. You want to find out more, join the waitlist. Because the point of this page is to get people to sign up to it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That's terrific, Sapna. It's been immensely helpful. To have your expertise at this point is really invaluable. I can't thank you enough.
All right, then. It's been lovely to have you on here. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And I will see you again very soon.
Thanks so much. I've really enjoyed it, and you've been immensely helpful.
Thank you. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.